It is great catching up with my next guest, Jared Gordon, who's going to be back in action taking on Grant Dawson, UFC Fight Night, April 30th. Jared, how's it going, man?
Doing well, James. How you doing?
Doing awesome. Always good to be talking to you. New opponent, right? Supposed to fight Rafael Alves. Now you're fighting Grant Dawson. When did you find out about the switch up?
So Rafael pulled out like a while ago, like way before
people knew.
Anyone knew.
Okay.
And I was offered someone else. I'm not going to name the person's name because
they obviously turned it down. Yeah.
They didn't take the fight.
Yeah.
And I'm not, I'm not saying that. Excuse me. That they were running from me, but they took another fight. And then so that took that whole process was like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then like a week after that, I heard that Grant was going to fill in. So
yeah,
excited, man.
I was going to say it's a really awesome fight. I know both of you really well, so it's kind of, just from like a selfish standpoint, it kind of sucks that someone's going to lose this, but I'm really excited about the fight. We'll get into that in a second, but I wanted to go back a little bit. What happened with Paddy Pimblett? Because didn't Dana White, wasn't he on the Barstool show and he said the fight was happening and then it wasn't and he's fighting something else? What from your standpoint happened? Were you ever close to fighting Paddy Pimblett?
I mean, that day I thought I was. So I guess I was laying on my bed and I got a text from Errol Hawani. He was like, "Congratulations." And I was like, "For what?" And he was like, "The fight." And I was like, "What fight?" And he's like, "You don't know?" And I was like, "I haven't heard anything." And I assumed they must have announced something. And I figured it was Paddy. And then I looked and that's what, the announcement was. I don't know exactly what happened on, the matchmakers and UFC side of things. And I'm not going to act like I do know. I don't believe that. I think my name was just one of the names that was being thrown around. And I don't know if they, they probably mentioned my name to Paddy and his manager and they were just like, and I'm assuming they just said no. I don't think that, or maybe I'm wrong, or I don't think that he was ever sent a contract with my name on it and he said, "No, I'm not fighting Jared." I don't think he would, I'm not saying, I would never say Paddy was scared to fight me. Because I just don't believe anyone's scared to fight anyone, really.
No, which is the dumbest thing that fans say, scared to fight. Like, come on, you step in a cage for a living, for God's sakes. You're obviously not scared. It's crazy. There's a business side of it, though, right? Like, it's not just Paddy as well. He's got a manager. He's got a team around him. So, we can speculate all day, but I was just curious. It didn't sound like things were close, which is weird because Dana's the one saying it, right? That's where, if it didn't come from someone else, I could understand. But, and Dana does get stuff wrong sometimes. Things don't materialize. But still, when I heard that, I thought, okay, he's really fighting him. And then it never happened.
So I was like, okay, cool. So I'm getting the fight. And then, I didn't get the fight. But whatever. It makes
it's okay. You got Grant Dawson. Great fight, regardless,
I think later down the line, it adds if it comes to fruition.
Yeah, you'll raise your hand. There you go. What did you think of his fight at UFC London? He got a quick win, but maybe not the opponent that people wanted him to see in terms of, a competitive fight.
I mean, it was kind of like his first fight. Well, it was exactly like his first fight, but instead of ending in a, knockout or TKO, it was a submission. He got touched and then came back and won the fight. Good. He did what he had to do, and he got a finish in the first round. Do I think that his opponent had really a basic idea of jiu-jitsu or ground defense? No, I don't. But what's the difference? He went out there and he did what he was supposed to do, and that's it. Look where it's working for him. So
absolutely. Yeah, no, well said. I was just curious your thoughts on it. So yeah, you're fighting Grant Dawson. You mentioned Alves was out a while ago, so I'm sure you were just sort of training what you're good at. You can't really prepare for an opponent, but now that you've had a chance to look at what Grant's all about, how do you feel like you match up against him here?
I think it's similar to my last fight. I think Grant has better takedowns, is a little more aggressive, and I'm not saying that his jiu-jitsu isn't as good as Joe's, but I think Joe is a little slicker, like more jiu-jitsu, like sporty jiu-jitsu, like just a little more like refined. Where I think Grant's more of like an MMA style grappler. We know. I think I know what he wants to do, and that's to take me down and try to beat me on the floor. So I think it's pretty similar to my last fight, obviously.
Yeah,
I think
it's interesting too because you guys are both.
It's a good matchup. So,
well, and the other cool thing about this is you guys both used to fight at featherweight, right? So it's kind of like two guys fighting at their. I know you can bulk up a bit too, but still, it's kind of interesting that you guys are both used to fight at 145 too, right?
Yeah, I think he was killing himself to get to 45, maybe more than I was. We both have missed weight, I think, at 45.
Well, and I know for him, he couldn't take a lot of fights because he needed more time to cut the weight as well. So it's just, means you can be more active, which is great.
Yeah.
So.
And like, he's still, I think, probably bigger than me.
Yeah.
He's a little taller than me, but, I think, man, I think most 45ers are probably 55ers anyways. So
true.
These guys are huge. But I think, I think it's a great matchup for me stylistically and, just where we are in our careers and stuff.
Did you know he almost trained at Sanford MMA? I don't know if you know this because he was looking for other gyms. He looked at Florida and he was picking between Sanford and ATT. So he could have almost gone to your gym. Did you know that?
I had no idea. I saw that he had went down to ATT before we got matched up. It's funny though, because like we became friends on Instagram. And I'm like, oh, Grant Dawson, cool. He moved to Florida. Maybe I'll like see him around or something like that. Now you're fighting each other. So, but that's just the way it goes, but what's the difference between Grant Dawson and the next guy? We train with the best guys in the world. So it's like, but it's good for him. Man. I guess he feel like he needed a change of pace,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I wanted to talk about your camp because there's a lot going on right now. First, Ian Gary, who we see fighting this weekend. Do you get to work with him at all? What do you make of him? He's this young, up-and-coming Irish kid. Looks like the real deal. As the ambulances are coming in.
Yeah, fire trucks.
Fire trucks are, yeah.
Well, Ian is a welterweight, and we don't spar as much. Usually we do I'll spar with some welterweights, but not he's 6'3". If I was fighting a guy that was like closer to his height, I would spar with him. Mm-hmm. We grapple though.
Yeah.
He's got a second fight coming up here in the UFC. Really enthusiastic kid. Super nice. Came to the gym. He fit right in. Made friends with everyone right away. Young prospect with a lot of with some hype behind him. I think he'll do great.
Yeah. And the other name I wanted to ask you about at that gym, Kevin Lee, I know has been a new addition. Again, a welterweight, but what have you made of his presence in the gym? It seems like it's been a good fit.
Yeah. Cool, super cool dude. And fit right in also, works hard, trained hard, and won his fight. But I think he got hurt, I guess, because I haven't seen him.
Yeah, he hurt his knee again. I think. Right? Yeah, he did. Yeah, just some really bad luck for him.
I haven't seen him since then. But super nice guy. Awesome to have him on the team. Obviously, world of experience. So much experience. Got some work in with him, and it was like just another great addition to the gym.
Who have you mainly been working with this camp?
I've been sparring with working with a lot of different guys. A lot of guys that are on the regional circuit, but are really good. I work with Chandler, Herbert Burns, a lot of the same guys. Also, Christos Jagos.
Is Jocko at your gym now? I thought he was at ATT.
He's
cool
for a while. He did his last camp against Armin here. Who else do we have? I don't remember, man. So many.
Yeah. No, I know we'd be here all day. No, I was just curious. Curious if there's any. Who are just name one of the regional guys you work with. I'm curious because I always like hearing about the up and comers.
Landry, he's fighting in global what's it called?
Combate Global. Yeah.
Global.
Yep.
Next, not this weekend, the following weekend. Really good kid, really good in the gym, and I think he's undefeated too. There's Devin Dixon. He's coming up. He's got a fight coming up in Titan FC. Evan Elder. He's really good. Really, all kids, young kids on the regional circuit. It's crazy. Like looking back at, when I was 24 or 25 fighting. Granted, I was shooting heroin a lot of the time, but the level of training is so high now. These kids, they don't realize how lucky they are. And, like, I was living in New York. I had to, like, throw all my training together, like, different gyms, go gym to gym. You live in South Florida, man. You drive to the gym wearing flip-flops and a wife beater and shorts, and you got everything under one roof. You got all these coaches, the best coaches in the world, some of the best fighters. You get to train with some of the best fighters in the world. Man, I get, like, envious. I'm like, fuck, these kids are young, and they're super talented and good, and it's crazy to see the evolution of the game,
How's this fight playing out on April 30th? How do you envision it going down?
Shit, man. Every time I say that I'm going to get a finish, I don't get a finish. So,
so just say you're going the decision, and then you didn't get a finish.
I'm going to win a dominant decision.
Can't remember if I asked you this last time. How many more fights do you have left in your contract? Do you know?
This is the third one on my contract.
So big fight, right? Because usually you renegotiate on the last one, right? You never go unless you want to hit free agency. But you strike me as a guy who wants to stay with the UFC.
Yeah. It's a big one. I mean, I try not to project or think about it too much because there's no sense of putting all the pressure on, I've done that before. It does not help. But big fight.
So I interviewed Mickey Gall last week, and I know he's been a new addition to your gym. Have you two talked Sopranos? Because I feel like there's two people who know Sopranos really well, you and Mickey Gall.
A little bit. We did it once. We didn't get too far into it, though, but we had a good 10-minute conversation. You
guys should do, in fact, maybe I'll set it up. We got to do like a trivia game and see who's got better trivia, because you're really good, man. Like you can quote stuff like I can. It's very impressive.
Yeah, man. James, like, I don't want to sound like I'm absolutely insane, but I'll watch it like 5 times, at least 5 days out of the week.
Okay, that's pretty intense.
My wife walks in and she's like, "What are you doing? How can you?" And I'm like, "You don't understand."
It's. I get it. Like
it's like reading it's like reading the Bible. It's like every time I watch it, I get something new out of it.
There are so many things. It's funny you say that, because like I remember, like I watched it when I was in high school, and then as I got older, obviously I went back and rewatched it. There's so many little things that you pick up that you might have missed the first time. Little jokes, like so good.
So many, and just like mannerisms. Like you're like, it's brilliant. It's brilliant.
Yeah, and one of my favorite memes right now, I don't know if you've seen it. It's where Paulie, it's typical Paulie quote. He goes, "You got some balls, my friend." So if someone like insults me on social media, I always throw that in them. Did do the old Paulie Walnuts there, which is good. Last question before we get out of here, kind of on that note of Sopranos, what has downtime been looking like? I know, by the way, you got married and everything, like big stuff going on in your life. How's
I just renovated this whole house. Took like 3 months, so it's just been nonstop. Like I was just building like a Murphy bed between
That's awesome.
sessions. So down, but I mean, I've been trying to like stay like just in the present and be like even right now, like I'm trying to everything I can to not like get sucked into bullshit like TV.
Oh, big time.
Social media. It's just so hard. So like. But like in this last 2 months, it's just been like training, and just like self-help stuff. I'm always doing self-help stuff.
Same here, man. I love that stuff. A couple books, all that.
Meetings, like just talking to people. I work a lot with the treatment center, the rehab that I'm partnered with.
I saw that, man. Looks like that's all going really well. I always love seeing those updates on your Instagram. It's really cool.
Recreate Behavioral Health Network. Big shout out to them. We're helping people. I'm trying to help as many people as I can. So, I go there. I speak to the clients and stuff and help people out. So, Florida's great though, man. It's always warm out. I could be outside. I'm in my porch right now.
Oh, I know, dude. You could rub it in a little bit more. We got pouring rain here in Vancouver.
Tropical,
but it's all good. Yeah, a little oasis there. It looks
Oasis
cool.
here,
Hey, let me ask you this. You were talking about self-help stuff. One of the things I always read is, and I just started doing it for like a month now. Do you do the cold plunges, the cold showers? I started doing that.
I do cold ice baths, and like we do a lot of breathing stuff.
Yeah, that's what I do. I've been doing that for a month. It's worked great. Like you do, I do it in the morning after I go to work out. Yeah. Oh man, and you feel it. And it gets easier for people wondering out there. If you're doing the cold showers, what I do is the hot shower, then just before the end, you do the breathing exercises, then you do the cold shower. And I find if I ever skip a day, that's only when it sucks. But if I do it consecutively, it's fine.
You got to try doing a cold bath, like 45 degrees with ice, and doing the breathing in the ice.
Wow. Okay, that's next level. That's the next for me. So there we go. Yeah, no, I bet. But I'll tell you, it isn't misery. Doing interviews with you, Jared. Thanks so much for the time. UFC Fight Night, April 30th. Anyone you want to thank? Any sponsors? Any social media? I'll give you the last word.
Recreate Behavioral Health Network, Live Pure, and my wife, Christina. I love you, baby.